judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Pay Respect to Mama by casting Vote Today by Connie Payton. To this day, I can still see my mother sitting at the window, the fading sunlight streaming through the open curtains, bent down over a collection of papers, her eyes shut tight, lips moving slowly, brow furrowed as she concentrated on memorizing the preamble to the U.S. Constitution. Over and over, she repeated the lines that symbolized her freedom, her voice rising and falling with the rhythm of the passage. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, would. Her voice faltering in uncertainty at the mistake, she would stop, peer again at the passage as if to make an imprint on her brain. And with a determined look on her face, she would start reciting over again at the very beginning. Over and over, day in and day out, my mother, a cleaning woman in New Orleans with 7 children, worked on memorizing the preamble. She never seemed to get tired, never appeared to give up. Her focus on getting the entire passage committed to memory intensified as the days flew by. Slowly, as she grew familiar with the lines, her recitation got louder. Her words grew stronger, bolder, as if she was performing before a crowd. One day while observing her, I asked, "Mama, why are you studying the preamble to the Constitution?" My 10-year-old mind could not understand why she would want to study the preamble since she was not in school. Today, I can still remember the pride and the sense of urgency she radiated as she turned to me, and in a hushed voice, she said, "Baby, I'm studying to pass this test so that I can get the right to vote. You see, this test is just a way to discourage African Americans, to turn us away, to make us give up before we even try. But if I give up on this, it means that I'm giving up on y'all, and I want y'all to have a better life than I got." It was then that I noticed the tears. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever seen my mother cry. I realized that this voting thing was a big deal because Mama never, ever cried. When Mama's big day to take the test arrived, she got dressed up like she was going to church, reviewed her notes one final time, and off to City Hall she went, strutting like a drum major to take her place in history. A few hours later, she returned, with her head held a little higher, her back a little straighter, walking with confidence, waving her voter registration card. "I am registered to vote," she shouted for all to hear. The atmosphere in our house felt a lot like Christmas or a family reunion. Running up to her, we all wanted to see that card, to touch it, as if by touching it, we would somehow get a better understanding of what that voter registration card really stood for. Back then, we had no idea that the right to vote that Mama and so many others struggled so hard to get would be taken for granted, pushed to the side, or sandwiched in between work, grocery shopping, baseball practice, and so many other empty excuses that we use when it's time to go to the polls. It is the memory of my mother's early commitment to the struggle that forces me to make voting a priority, to get there early, to stand in the long lines, to put up with the inconveniences, to, no matter what, make them count my vote.